What happened, Daddy?
It's Fat Joe's record. I listened to it. It hurt me. I can't do it. I don't care about the money. Who cares about the money?
I like to tell the people home, I feel so safe tonight with all this police protection courtesy of G Unit.
Whenever you go, we everywhere, you never there. And it's because I was already in the arenas. So what would I be doing back in the nightclub?
Yeah.
At that point.
50 Cent just came out swinging. And what he's claiming is straight up wild. He says Fat Joe didn't just beef with him. Joe allegedly tried to get him killed. And now Joe's name is all over a brand new RICO lawsuit that's backing those deadly claims. And trust, it ain't just rap drama anymore. This is about murder plots, cold-blooded setups, and some jaw-dropping accusations that Joe ran his crew like a full-blown crime ring. Even worse, there are disturbing whispers online calling Joe a PDF file, and the streets are buzzing with rumors that hit way below the belt. But here's the kicker. The man spilling all the tea is no random dude. It's Joe's own hype man. This guy was by Joe's side for over 10 years. So where does 50 Cent come in? Y'all remember how serious the beef between 50 and Fat Joe got back in the day? Pure chaos. But now, according to this RICO lawsuit, Joe didn't just talk tough. He allegedly tried to take 50 out, not once, but multiple times. And the only reason it didn't go down? 50's security team was too solid, always 2 steps ahead. Now here's where it gets even crazier, because 50 finally spoke up about it. But what he's saying doesn't fully line up with the lawsuit. He's playing it down, acting like it wasn't that deep. But fans are scratching their heads like, why would 50 downplay someone trying to end him? Unless there's way more going on behind the scenes that he can't say just yet. We're diving into the lawsuit's claims, how 50's reacting, and how all of this connects to the legendary G-Unit versus Terror Squad war. But here's the real reason folks are shook. This case might be way bigger than just Fat Joe facing charges. Once you see who's named in the lawsuit, the timeline, and the dirty details, it starts to look insane. Some are even saying this could be worse than the Diddy scandal. So what exactly does the lawsuit accuse Fat Joe of? Well, according to his former hype man, Terrence "Taw" Dixon, Joe didn't just want 50 to shut up, he wanted him dead. Dixon says Joe ordered a hit during the peak of their beef, and it was supposed to look like just another street robbery gone wrong. The paperwork says Joe was part of a cold, calculated plan to murder Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, sometime in the winter of 2006 to 2007. And get this, Dixon claims one of Joe's guys was in Miami when he got a call about 50 being spotted at a venue in New York. That's when things started moving. According to the lawsuit, one of Joe's guys, Cartagena, allegedly ordered the hit on 50 Cent, but the hit never went down because 50 was rolling deep with elite security, ex-military type dudes who weren't playing. The hitmen got cold feet when they saw how tight 50's protection really was. The paperwork claims Joe was heated it didn't happen fast enough. He was out here telling people to put a bag on 50's head, and when the plot flopped, Dixon says Joe was shaking, visibly upset. That's not just talk. That's someone who allegedly put serious planning into this move. It gets crazier. Dixon says the whole thing was mapped out based on 50's performance schedule. They were allegedly trying to ambush him at public events, tracking him from venue to venue. This wasn't a one-off threat, it was a full-blown stalking mission. So when all this hit the news, everyone thought 50 was gonna clap back hard. But nope, 50 pulled a wild move instead. He posted a photo of himself with Joe, soundtracked by Young Buck's "Price Is On My Head." In the caption, 50 said, "These baseless accusations and claims are not credible. I'm sorry Joe has to endure the public scrutiny and damage to his reputation. This is a stick-up. I wrote this hook. I should have kept this one." That post had fans scratching their heads like, wait, what? Is 50 defending Joe now? Some think he's being sarcastic, others say 50's playing the long game. One person even commented, 50's playing chess. If he goes this route, Joe will stay loyal because he knows it's true. Sincere, Now, keep in mind, lawsuits can say anything, but this ain't coming from some random fan. This is Joe's own former hype man, someone who says he saw it all. And according to him, the hit on 50 was just one piece of a much darker puzzle. So what else is Dixon saying? Brace yourself, because the next part of this lawsuit is straight up disturbing. Dixon claims Fat Joe did more than just try to silence enemies. He's accusing him of illegal activities involving underage girls. According to Dixon, Joe had inappropriate relations with minors and even paid for cosmetic surgery for a 15-year-old girl. Yeah, you heard that right. The lawsuit, filed in federal court in New York, is 157 pages long and starts with a trigger warning because of how graphic it gets. It accuses Joe of putting Dixon through degrading situations, making him perform under pressure, under surveillance, and threatening to leave him stranded in foreign countries if he didn't do what he was told. Dixon says he was forced into over 4,000 acts just to stay in Joe's good graces. That's not a typo. 4,000. But the most unsettling part? Dixon says he personally witnessed Joe involved with multiple young girls. He lists 3 victims, Jane Does, in shocking detail. Jane Doe 1 was a 16-year-old Dominican girl from New York. Dixon says she was given cash, clothes, and even had her phone bill paid, all in exchange for doing things for Joe. Jane Doe 2 was described as a Caucasian teen who wasn't even a U.S. citizen. Dixon claims Joe started hooking up with her at 15, after a concert overseas. Allegedly, Joe flew her to NYC and Miami several times. But Jane Doe 3 is the most chilling. Dixon says Joe met her when she was 15, about to turn 16, and he was in love with her. He says Joe even considered leaving his wife for her. Dixon alleges Joe paid all her bills, took her on tour stops overseas, and put her up in a condo just blocks from his home, where his wife lived. At the time, Joe was reportedly in his late 30s. Dixon even included photos of Jane Doe 3 with her high school friends to show how young she really was during the time she was allegedly involved with Joe. So, where does the RICO part come in? Well, here's the breakdown. This is a civil RICO lawsuit, not criminal, at least not yet. Civil RICO lets private citizens sue people for running organized crime operations, the kind of law originally made to take down mafia bosses. To win a case like this, Dixon's gotta prove Joe didn't act alone. He ran a group, a structured criminal network. And that's exactly what Dixon is claiming. He names 2 of Joe's closest people, Pistol Pete Torres and Richard Rich Blair Jair. Dixon says these 2 weren't just part of the entourage. They were key players in what he calls Fat Joe's criminal enterprise. But to win in court, Dixon also has to prove this crew didn't just mess up once or twice. He has to show a pattern, like repeated criminal behavior over time. And based on these accusations, he's going all in. To prove this civil RICO case, Dixon's got to show at least 2 serious crimes, things like fraud, extortion, trafficking, or even witness threats, and that they didn't just happen once. Nah, he's saying this stuff went down repeatedly over the years. That's what makes RICO lawsuits hit different. It paints the picture of a full-blown criminal network, not just one dude wilding out. Even though it's a civil case right now, the word RICO turns heads fast. It's loud, it's bold, and it gets attention, especially from the feds. Because if there's one thing the feds love, it's a longtime insider flipping and airing out everything from the inside. And in hip-hop, RICO charges have been flying, from YSL to Casanova, and of course Diddy. The streets and the suits are watching close. So if Dixon's telling the truth and this kind of structure was moving in the shadows for over a decade, everybody's now asking the same thing. Why did he stay quiet so long? Well, 50 called it a stick-up, but according to Dixon, he stayed silent out of fear. Not just fear of losing his spot, but fear for his life. He claims threats were made when he tried to break away. Joe allegedly kept him close because he knew too much. You might not know the name Terrence "Ta" Dixon, but he was right there, side by side with Fat Joe for 16 years. That's a whole career. Tour after tour, stage after stage. But now, he's flipping the script saying Joe used fear, control, and manipulation to keep everyone in line. So is this justice finally knocking? Or a revenge plot cooked up after years of feeling used and tossed aside? Dixon says it wasn't just one fallout moment. It was years of being underpaid, disrespected, and finally pushed out when he stopped playing along. And here's the twist. He even dragged Roc Nation into the lawsuit, claiming they didn't just know what was going on. They helped make it happen. Yep, he says Roc Nation was a strategic facilitator of the whole operation. According to Dixon, they were either aware or chose to turn a blind eye. He's accusing them of being part of racketeering activity that included forced labor, financial fraud, and other serious misconduct. But here's where the questions really heat up. Why now? Why is Dixon dropping this massive lawsuit while the spotlight's on Diddy, YSL, and the rest? Some are saying he's trying to slide in while the block is hot and score a payout while feds are already snooping around the hip-hop scene. Others think he's telling the truth, and if that's the case, this might just be the first domino to fall. We've got a 157-page civil RICO complaint filled with disturbing allegations, from attempted hits to claims of abuse involving young girls. And in the middle of it, 50 Cent's out here brushing it all off, saying Joe's being set up. Now that's wild considering how hard 50's been going at Diddy. He's already filming a doc on the Diddy situation before any charges have stuck. And let's not forget he even pulled Jay-Z into it too, saying Jay had knowledge about Kid Cudi's car explosion. But now, Fat Joe's in the hot seat. His accuser just named Jay-Z's Rock Nation as part of the alleged crime circle, and still 50's quiet. Almost too quiet. So maybe that fan was right. Maybe 50 is playing chess. Maybe this ain't about loyalty, it's about strategy. And if Joe really did try to take him out back in the day, but 50's staying calm, then what does he know that we don't? Because if Dixon's story holds up, and if 50 really had a price on his head, this is just the beginning. Welcome to the RICO Wars. And insiders are whispering, and the feds might not stop with Joe. They could be coming for 50 next. If you thought this was wild, just wait. This saga is far from over. Hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to CelebBeatz for all the raw, unfiltered Hollywood drama that they don't want you to know.